Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Hyperdub and Argos Zenith here on Metalopolis. Argos Zenith spawning as the purple Zerg player at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Hyperdub spawning as the Terran player, Red Terran, over here at the 12 o'clock position. Should be an interesting matchup. Also, make notes or make comments. Actually, let's bring that up as well. This particular replay is sponsored by LU Computers. Go ahead and check out their website for StarCraft 2 tested computers. There's a link on the top right hand side. Now, in regards to my microphone, I've been still trying to play with the settings, trying to fix the popping issues that seems to be appearing sometimes. It sounds like my microphone is clipping, but I'm not 100% sure. I think I've gotten the balance issues as well. So, out comes that SCV able to spot that Overlord. And one of the things that just trying to fix the popping issues, the balance issues on the sounds are better. Let me know, leave comments. Also, thumbs up my videos if you enjoy them, and please subscribe. I've been trying to get higher subscriber counts, and just trying to get higher subscriber counts, and perhaps my subscriber count, if I'm higher up, will get more featured, and then I will be able to get more views as well. And you know, more views is always a nice thing. Back over here, we have a hatchery now being hatchery and a 14 spawning pool coming in from Argos. So Argos going for that 14 hatchery will not get an early. 14 spawning pool will not be getting that early hatchery anytime soon. We do have a drone now moving out, but that drone is more of a scouting drone than anything else. No, this drone now hiding behind this mineral patch over here, or not gonna hide behind the Minx statue over here, trying to get out of line of sight. No, hiding underneath a lamppost. You know, sometimes you say hide in plain sight is the best, but you know, not underneath a lamppost. Back over here, Overlord, just doing some flying, moving very slowly as the supply depot, or as this barracks is going to be completed in just a moment. And now we have this barracks or command center, which will be upgraded to an orbital command at 16. So this barracks was a little bit delayed. So finally training up another SCV instead, and now. Wow, not going for an early orbital command. I'm not exactly sure what the strategy is at this point. Going for a factory here. So it's going to be a factory here, and this is going to be the weakest point in the whole entire building structure. If there is any sort of bangling front door, Zerglings and drones moving out to try to deal with this SCV over here. Doesn't see it, wanting to see if there's any sort of bunker being laid down. Zerglings will find that SCV down to 35 hit points already. And that SCV has a little bit slower movement speed, I believe, than those Zerglings. But those Zerglings need to stop in order to attack. Over here, we now have the tech lab being laid down as that factory coming in, and now another supply depot being laid there. So this supply depot being laid here will finish off this wall in when this factory comes into this position, lifts off, and then lands once again. And in order to perhaps, I guess, start producing siege tanks, he may try to go research the Infernal Pre-Igniter. What exactly? Yeah, researching the Infernal Pre-Igniter in just a moment. Just needs a little bit more gas as those Hellions now being trained up. We do not have any Roach Warrens coming in yet. We do have one Spine Crawler, which will walk its way down over here, and no Creep Tumors. So Argos Zenith not getting any creep tumors just quite yet. Moving over that spine crawler, now moving very, very slowly, movement speed of 1, and now I'm gonna go ahead and root himself in this position and try to protect that a little bit better. There is one queen over here now being trained up. Not exactly sure what. Spawning a creep tumor there, that's a curious position. Not quite sure why you wanted to spawn creep over there as the Overlord flying in the air, and now we have a bunker being placed here. So nice front door seal. Marines will be able to get additional range to try to clear out any damage over here. Perhaps even a bunker here as well to protect from any protecting from any Baneling bust. You really want to double saturate your walls against a Zerg player if you're expecting a Baneling bust. And because the Terran player has not seen any additional tech units besides Zerglings, should not know what to expect. We are, however, going to tier 2. So a quick tier 2 tech. And now a Roach Warren coming into play. So I believe he saw the Zergling was able to run up this ramp. No, did not even see those Hellions yet. So not 100% sure how he knows to try to go for Roaches to counteract those Hellions. But those Hellions, with that Infernal Pre-Igniter research nearly completed, will be able to torch that Zergling. There it goes. I don't think, did they take any damage whatsoever? Does not look like it. We have 4 Hellions now moving out with that Infernal Pre-Igniter. There are one Spine Crawler in position, and that Roach will be trained up in just a moment. Evolution Chamber being placed down, and another Spine Crawler on this back position over here. So very nicely done. Those Hellions will not be able to try to get behind there. We'll have to be forced to come in and now that the Hellions perhaps trying to take down some of those larvae. Larvae, if you did not know, are light units, even though they have 10 armor. So Hellions are able to destroy larvae with that splash damage. So it's very important that Argos Zenith uses these larvae very carefully. Otherwise, he will not be able to train any additional units. However, this queen gonna get taken down. Now pulling back and burning to a crisp there. But two spine crawlers really in really very strong positions, able to deal damage. Gonna have these roaches move over here, and those roaches, yeah, very nice position for Argos Zenith. And now these Hellions from Hyperdub will not be able to deal the amount of economic damage that he needs. Argos Zenith now with a significant harvester count, 40 harvesters compared to 29, so 20% more harvesters, and now should be training up another queen. Yeah, there we go, another queen being trained up in order to keep up with this production count. And now teching to a spire. Over here, an overseer cocoon slowly morphing itself, but now Hyperdub now coming in with 2 Vikings. Vikings going to be able to take down those overlords very easily. A second overlord now taken down. So Argos Zenith now upside down on food count, 58 over 44. Supply lock and unable to produce any additional units. And for quite some time until he gets that back up and running. We do have 1 siege tank. Siege tech now being researched as these Hellions perhaps going to try to push once again. And now we have these roaches and trying to hold off against those Hellions, but those roaches, only with a range of 3, will not be able to deal significant damage unless they're on creep. Roaches move very, very slowly, and now here comes a drone. Drone now moving off to this hatchery over here, or this location over here to try to spawn a hatchery, but will not work. Drone sniped and burnt to a crisp in transit. Over here, we have that spire nearing completion. Mass overlords now over here as well. Creep tumors in position. This one queen really needs to stay out of the limelight for a little bit, as those Vikings, I guess, came into that ground position and almost shot down this queen. Spawning larva again on second queen, or I believe that's a third queen now being trained. Oh no, the second queen. Where's that other queen? All right, down over here, hiding in the shadows of that overlord. So those roaches now going after those Hellions. Roaches do not move very fast unless they have that roach movement upgrade, and that is currently not being researched. But we have 7 Mutalisks in the air. Those Mutalisks in the air will give him air superiority, but we already have 5 Vikings, and they are completely repaired as well. So it really depends on what he can really do with those Mutalisks, as we also have an overlord sitting over here trying to gather sight. No one really getting these Zelnaga watchtowers, and now 2 more Vikings coming into position. Will these Mutalisks able to deal any damage? No, those Vikings are going to able to snipe down one of those Mutalisks very early, and sniping down a second one. No, one of those Mutalisks down to 3 hit points, unable to micro to shoot down that one. That was a very, very lucky hit there. And now those wolf statues, I'm not quite sure why they're even there on top of a building. Anyways, back over here, we have some Vikings now being repaired by SCVs once again. Hyperdub now sieging up some siege tanks in order to get some additional protection for this natural expansion. SCVs repairing these Hellions as well, so really using those repairs very, very effectively. Over here, it would be interesting to actually see if Argos Zenith can, if we can actually drop a Nidus Canal right here, right beyond line of sight from this refinery, and even with the supply depot here, because of these vents, unable to spot that over here. Mutalisks trying to put in some pressure, but going to run head on into a missile turret. Missile turret getting 24 damage onto that Mutalisk. Mutalisk being forced to pull back. So very nicely done. Vikings moving out. A little bit of an interesting thing to note. Put that back. Vikings are one of the only units that are actually armored that don't start off with 1 armor. I can't think of any other unit. You guys can probably school me and let me know. But I think every other unit that is an armored unit has 1 armor. So yeah, siege tanks armored has 1. Marauders are the same way. Roaches are the same way. And let me know if you can think of a unit that isn't, but that may be a unique classification for the Viking. That armored keyword actually makes it take more damage than anything else. So it has a disadvantage of being armored without any of the advantages of being armored. Over here, we now have Mutalisks running into this position, perhaps going to try to do some Muta micro and take down some of these SCVs in transition. Now going after the refineries instead. Vikings will be able to come in with that range of 9, deal the damage, and those Mutalisks being forced to pull back as 1 round of attacks coming in, shooting down and blasting a Mutalisk out of the sky. A second Mutalisk getting blasted there. And those Lancer torpedoes, so destructive, just causing bleeding on so many of these buildings here. We do have one infester, so that if that infester is able to perhaps get a fungal growth, I think he's trying to bait a fungal growth. And will he be able to bait a fungal growth onto those Vikings? No. And now we have those Vikings moving over here instead, and that infester really needs to come back over here, and more Mutalisks getting taken down. Are we going to get a fungal growth? Yeah, fungal growth, but without any queen support, I do not know why Argos Zenith is just sitting here and taking so much damage. There's no real reason, and that queen could have been brought into position, and that was a really, really bad miscalculation by Argos. If there was perhaps another infester to chain fungal growths, that may have been enough. We do have Thors now joining this army, and this is going to be a massive amount of mech. Argos Zenith really now taking the macro style gameplay. 79 harvesters compared to 51, and I really need a closed raptor while I'm shoutcasting. Over here, as Argos Zenith continuing to mine, and now going to be able to run off of 4 bases essentially. Hellions trying to keep control of this map this whole entire time. Will these Hellions be able to deal any damage? Hellions doing a quick check on this high ground, does not see any of those units, and now Hellions going to be moving over to the 6 o'clock position, and these drones will get torched in just a second. There goes one drone, a second drone there. Oh no, now gonna get taken. There we go, finally getting taken out, and more drones coming to the barbecue to get torched. Mutalisks now in the air, so those Mutalisks and those queens, that queen will be able to finish off that over here as the drones, as a lot of drones were taken out. But we see 87 harvesters for Argos, so Argos playing the real economic game. You can take a look at the losses: 3,500 for Argos versus Hyperdub's 1,225. But Argos has the stronger economy and will be able to macro up the better army in just a moment. Taking a look at all of these hatcheries over here, it does not look like he's saving up any larvae. Could perhaps get some more larvae over there, but now in comes some Vikings, and Vikings now doing some Overlord hunting, able to snipe down a couple of those Overlords that had a full roach count, and Mutalisks now just going to get torn apart there. Not very nicely done at all. So Hyperdub dominating the skies with these Vikings and dominating the ground with Hellions and siege tanks. Thor is now coming in, and no, look at this massive army, 12 siege tanks, a very strong army indeed. Even out of siege mode now, the fast attack rate of these siege tanks will deal significant damage to these roaches. These siege tanks almost firing twice as fast as a roach and dealing more damage per attack, 28 damage per attack compared to 16, and also firing twice as quickly. But Roach is now quickly coming in and doing a drop. So this drop, and it's going to be very difficult. These Roaches, however, do not have burrow. Hellions coming over to try to deal with this attack, but it's not going to work all that well either. Roaches really need to deal damage. You're just running around inside the space, and now over comes a Thor, and now taking down one of those tech labs. Another siege tank going to get taken down over here. No burrow in sight as these Roaches trying to move in. Siege tanks now blasting and destroying the rest of that army there, and Argos Zenith not keeping track of his units all that well, as we have Vikings very nicely done, and in comes a nice fungal growth, another fungal growth not coming in anytime soon. Perhaps dropping some infested Terrans would have been enough to take down more of those Vikings. Infested Terrans only cost 25 energy, lasting 30 seconds, so that would have been a decent amount of damage for those units. And now we have drones being transferred over here to this other expansion. Argos Zenith now taking more and more bases, the whole entire south side of the map taking or in control by Argos. Hyperdub running off of 3 factories, getting another tech lab down, training up Hellions, training up Thors, training up siege tanks. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Hyperdub and Argos Zenith here on Metalopolis.